I can only offer good advice and ideas to bands and artists given my 35 years plus experience in the recording studio business. Sometimes musical, sometimes personal, sometimes marketing strategy. I can't count all the times I've seen artists shy away from taking good opportunities to promote and further their careers, many times turning down good money. They somehow think that if they follow the same path that they're on, it will naturally lead them to success without having any real experience in marketing or public promotions. The music business is a vicious and fickle machine, and one must learn to adapt to new ideas and concepts until one finds a method or niche that works well for them. As a studio owner and manager, I can tell you that there are always a zillion projects and chores to do around the studio. If a band needs to get into the studio to record, especially on a regular basis, they could offer to exchange services for studio time. Simple tasks such as cleaning, painting, yard care, and renovations. I've even traded blocks of time with electricians, carpenters, mechanics, even a moving company. I'd rather come into the studio work on a band project for free than mow the yard, paint a room, or clean the restrooms. So if you really want to record that next great album but can't afford the studio rates, then take the initiative and call your favorite studio and make them an offer. Maybe even the whole band can chip in their time and efforts. If you're really flexible, you can get all the professional studio time you need rather than trying to record yourselves at home. Most studios have unused pockets of time that are available at really low rates or even for free sometimes. Often early mornings or late nights are available. For these off-hour sessions, you might need to bring in your own engineer if the in-house engineer is not available. Then the studio only needs to open the room for you and then lock up when you're through. This is also an excellent opportunity for a new engineer or producer to gain valuable experience in a real studio with a live band or artist. This kind of hands-on experience is really hard to find, even in expensive recording schools. Who knows, he or she might even get hired by the studio to cover a session after moonlighting there for a while. Or maybe even assist someone with more experience, which is like winning a golden ticket. Just be sure to take care of the space and equipment when you're in there. Make sure to leave the studio 100% clean and squared away when your session is through. Don't make it a party. Take out the trash, clean the bathrooms, put things away properly. Make the studio staff really impressed and glad to have you there. Texting and emails are often really good ways to quickly relay plans, ideas, and schedules, but are no substitution for in-person meetings and interactions. I always prefer a direct phone call, a two-way conversation, preferably in person, to a long series of texts where details and nuance are often missed. How do you communicate with someone who's trying to avoid it? If the other guy doesn't want to have a conversation, then it's simply too painful for me to even try. Regularly hiding behind texts is a passive tactic used to avoid a direct exchange of ideas, responsive communication, or even arguments, which are sometimes necessary to clear the air and avoid withheld communications. As a general rule of thumb, if it's at all important, then pick up the phone or meet me in person. Texts are only a one-way communication. You aren't required to listen to or respond to the other person. One can easily leave a critical text conversation by simply not responding promptly for hours or even days at a time. This is actually a rather passive-aggressive power play. In an actual conversation, one can't pull off such an unprofessional move. I originally opened my recording studio to collaborate with others to produce music together and perhaps make some money. Not to provide a studio rental service to all other private producers to use and then take their productions elsewhere to work on and complete, often without crediting me or the studio properly or providing any contact information about it. The magic for me has always been about the interaction between musicians, the studio staff, engineers, and producers. Like when a musician from one band sits in on another artist's session, or a studio intern gets asked to help out on another producer's project just because they got along so well. I've even seen people I've trained to start their own studio successfully or go on the road with international tour companies, sometimes for years at a time. It's all about communication, really. Communicate. collaborate, negotiate. Watch out for studio colleagues openly displaying passive-aggressive behavior. Know what to watch out for. Typically, male egos with a "that'll never work" attitude. Diminishing little comments like, "that's just crazy," or "oh really, wow, you sure about that?" There actually might be a little bit of jealousy here, so be careful. A close associate or colleague might secretly covet your creativity, your success, or even the very studio space you've created for everyone. So be very aware and cautious here, even after you've offered to work with them and made full use of your studio and gear. They may still try to undermine your situation or even resort to bad-mouthing you professionally around town. This could possibly hurt the business you've worked so hard on. Don't let freelance engineers try to take over or reconfigure your studio configuration or look unless it's really to your benefit. Will it really make your business better and bring in customers, or is it just to their personal advantage? Having an amazing recording production space is something really special and unique, something you've strived hard towards. Don't let others try to sabotage your efforts with their own self-interest in mind.